Thank you for joining NMH at 1, where we highlight the news-making headlines in the land of the brave and beyond, ranging from current affairs to community stories, sports and economic news. I am Ashwin Berry, and these are the news headlines. NHE employee strike over. Justice Minister revokes the legal aid certificate of government lawyer following tribal remarks made on Twitter. And Ovaherero Traditional Authority condemns in-situ mining. This is NMH at 1, midday news update after the break. Ombara Rukambe Uwadukuani, in a speech read on behalf of Ovaherero Traditional Authority Paramount Chief Mushinde Kashihuwa this morning, said that proposed in-situ mining activities in the Stamford Basin will destroy sensitive water sources which farming communities rely on for drinking and farming activities. Remember to engage with these stories on our social media throughout the broadcast. Visual news coming up after the break.
Take a load off and tune into another episode of Brave Namibia as we take a look at both ordinary and extraordinary Namibians. Brave Namibia is broadcasted on NTV Saturdays at 6:30 p.m. and oneup2.com, as well as broadcasted on the following Facebook platforms on Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Republican, Allgemeine Zeitung, Namibian Sun, and all Namibia Media Holdings pages. For more information, contact the Brave team at brave@synergy.com.na. Brave Namibia, for the ordinary and extraordinary Namibians.
Heading into the visual news, National Housing Enterprise CEO Gisbertus Mukulu has announced that the entity's employees are no longer striking and are set to return to work on 11 April. NHE will implement no work, no pay principle, which will not be done once off but will be structured over 8 months. The terms of the agreement include that employees will earn once-off payment of 5,000 Namibian dollars and will get individual scorecards to meet stated deliverables, which include finalization of strategic integrated business plan and implementation of enterprise resource plan and finalization of outstanding audits, the Public Service Union of Namibia added. Now in this video, Deputy Secretary General of the Public Service Union of Namibia, Uyama Kahangoro, details efforts it had to go through to successfully bring a strike by staff members of the National Housing Enterprise to an end. Ohone Hlage was there.
We have achieved a lot, and we'll come to that, because I know that you want to hear the specifics, but you're just making opening statements. One unique feature that stands out also as part of the agreement is, in a long time, I haven't heard it, but we managed to strike an agreement where the union and its members commit on a serious note to achieve certain targets, also to assist the company in moving forward. It's something that I have not heard often being part of any collective agreement. So for us, that is a milestone that we have ventured into another era at the end of the time to say, from here moving forward, this is what we are going to do, and that is contributing productively to ensure that the company reaches its targets. And obviously then you'll have more money next time when you bargain for pay rises, then you are sure that you have funds because you work towards it. One thing I can only touch on the side of disappointment, probably and deliberately so, is on the conduct of the Office of the Labour Commissioner. The office was not very helpful as usual in this process, and the union and the company had to rely on its own creativeness to reach this agreement, whereas the Office of the Labour Commissioner could have assisted in ending the strike. The conduct of the arbitrator conciliator it's as usual, very disappointing. We were not impressed. Had we not had the social capital and the mutual trust between the company and the union to rely on our own inner resources and creativity, we would not have ended the strike. We would like the Office of the Commissioner to play a more productive mediating role under these circumstances, rather than behaving in a manner that splits the two parties and further the strike and cause more harm to the process. So
The Justice Minister has revoked the legal aid certificate of government lawyer Eva Nangolo following tribal remarks she recently made on Twitter. An update on this story follows in the newspaper review segment shortly.
Sport Wrap is a daily show focusing on all sport news and current affairs. If you would like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact sportwrap@synergy.com.na.
Justice Minister Yvonne Dausab has revoked the legal aid certificate of government lawyer Eva Nangolo following her tribal Twitter remarks about the Damara people on Sunday. The Namibian Sun reports that a disciplinary process has been set in motion in the meantime. The ministry's executive director Gladys Pickering told Namibian Sun late yesterday. Now, the ministry acted swiftly to kick into motion a disciplinary process against Nangolo, who made what many construed as tribalist and derogatory remarks towards the Damara people over the weekend. The paper's page 3 highlights the sentiments of Works and Transport Minister John Mutorwa, who expressed concern about the dilapidated state of government properties, saying they are in permanent state of decay. Mutorwa said this during the tabling of his ministry budget in the National Assembly last week, highlighting that the time to renovate government buildings is now. Government inherited buildings that were built many years ago, and all materials used have reached their expiration date. There is an urgent need to revamp all of this now. And thousands of senior citizens did not receive the pension increase of $100 Namibian this month, reports Republican. When asked, the Minister of Finance and State Enterprises, Ipho Bushimi, referred questions to the Ministry of the Presidency responsible for gender equality. I can confirm that the increase to pensioners will be retroactive once the budget is approved. We are still discussing the budget in Parliament. I believe by May the budget will be approved, Shimi said. And Republican carries the story of Moses Ngito Telwa, who wakes up at 5 a.m. every morning to prepare for his 2-hour walk to Oshikunde Combined School in the Ohangwena region. 19-year-old Ngito Telwa walks 7 kilometers every day from Omito village to the school to achieve his dream of becoming a teacher one day. Once he is done, he walks the same distance to get home. His situation is no different from that of the majority of the school learners who walk similar distances each day to obtain an education. According to Algemene Zeitung, a reliable source has confirmed that real estate agents and business owners from the construction industry met for a meeting on April 2nd and have decided to join the Anti-Corruption Commission and Minister of Agriculture Schleitwein to contact any suspicious land dealings in the city to stop. And on page 3, the paper reports that the Namibia Broadcasting Corporation has dragged media ombudsman John Nakuta to court over claims that he flouted administrative processes and continued to make major decisions in a matter in which he is heavily conflicted. Those decisions, NBC argued in court papers, include Nakuta accepting a complaint by 2 activists who accused the broadcaster of breaching the Media Code of Ethics when it aired a Talk of the Nation program to discuss the activities of Canadian oil company Recon Africa in the Kavango regions. We'll be continuing with the Namibian newspaper after the break.
The Regional Review brings you news, views, and interviews from NMH correspondents from across the country. If you would like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact regional@synergy.com.na.
The Namibian newspaper reports that Independent Patriots for Change councillor Ndeshi Hafela Laranja has lashed out at churches for applying for exemption from paying property rates and taxes. Laranja wants the city to detail how much the city loses by giving exemptions to churches and other faith-based organizations. This comes as the Windhoek Council on Monday approved a list including 35 churches and other religious organizations that applied for exemption from paying rates and taxes. On page 3, the paper reports on the UNAM Southern Campus, where 66% of the graduates were women. Vice President Nangolo Mbumba, who is also the University of Namibia Chancellor, said that men need in the country to redouble their efforts to educating and empowering themselves to play a meaningful role in society. This is a very worrisome situation where the boy child is lagging in education, he said. On page 1 of the New Era, it is reported that the government is set to spend over 100 million Namibian dollars to feed around 29,000 marginalized communities' households in the current financial year, in an attempt to unchain the most destitute from the yoke of poverty. The detail is contained in Deputy Gender and Social Welfare Minister Bernadette Yaga's budget motivation statement delivered in Parliament this week. And Labour Minister Utoni Nyoma has called for urgent action to tackle the country's persistent unemployment problem. Speaking at the official launch of the development process of the third national employment policy of the Republic of Namibia yesterday, Nyoma stressed the need for a comprehensive and sustainable strategy to create job opportunities for the country's growing population. On to Market Watch, Namibia's 8.5 billion import bill in February 2023 was mainly driven by petroleum oils, mostly sourced from India, the United Arab Emirates and Italy, according to the Namibia Statistics Agency. Similarly, in January, petroleum oils was the main driver of the domestic 10 billion Namibian dollar import bill. Petroleum oils in January were mainly sourced from Saudi Arabia, Malaysia and Singapore. The Meat Corporation of Namibia set up a Meatma outlet in Walvis Bay. More on this story in Economic News after the break.
3, 2, 1.
We Talk brings you community news that lies at the heart of Windhoek residents. If you would like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact wetalk@synergy.com.na. You live, we talk.
The Meat Corporation of Namibia set up a Meatma outlet in Walvis Bay and officially announced its arrival at the coast on Friday. Meatco Board Director Shiwanande Unyema said the business opening at Damara Court 4 in Mbambane Street, Kwisapmund, is a remarkable moment for the company and the community of Walvis Bay. We add value to our raw materials, and that is why we are here today. We do not only sell products to customers, but also set up retail outlets to ensure that we facilitate value addition and benefication to our raw materials. Now, the initiative aims to promote local beef consumption. Products that will be sold at the outlet will come from cattle procured in northern communal areas. This creates an additional opportunity for these farmers to participate in the local market, Deunyema highlighted. Meatco CEO Mwilima Mushokabanji added that the state-owned enterprise wants to achieve food and nutritional security and is happy to contribute directly to this objective. Mushokabanji said people always question why Meatco is taking the premium cuts out of the country, with Namibians losing out. Let's head into the economic news. Economic indicators. The local currency rose by 0.1% against the Chinese yuan and the British pound respectively, while $1 will now cost 17 Namibian dollars and 92 cents. Capricorn Investment Group stocks rose 13 Namibian dollars and 85 cents on the NSX as other stocks prices remain unchanged. Local index rose by 0.19%, while overall index closed 0.12% higher. Gold and Brent crude oil are up in price, while the prices of copper and zinc have dropped by 1.86% and 2.31% respectively. The Zimbabwean government says it has ordered an investigation into reports of gold smuggling. This story and more from the African continent coming up shortly.
Straight Talk is a debate competition for high school learners and a spelling competition for primary school learners, mostly focusing on current affairs among the youth. Contact Zone at synergy.com.na to share your products and services. Straight Talk. Don't raise your voice, improve your argument.
Heading into news stemming from the African continent, the Zimbabwean government says it has ordered an investigation into reports of gold smuggling and money laundering. Information Minister Monica Muchangwa says the authorities take allegations raised in a TV documentary series by the broadcaster Al Jazeera very seriously. She said that anyone involved in corruption and fraud would face the full wrath of the law. The TV programs use undercover reporters to reveal what they say are criminal networks linked to a subsidiary of Zimbabwe's central bank smuggling gold to Dubai, and gold has become the country's biggest export. On a recent Friday morning, north of Johannesburg, the head of South Africa's largest telecoms company surveyed the arsenal of backup systems, keeping just one of his 15,000 network towers online amid the worst power cuts on record. As the national power grid crumbles, leaving Africa's most advanced economy in the dark for up to 10 hours a day, mobile operators including Vodacom, MTN and majority state-owned Telkom are scrambling to ensure their networks stay up and running. They're spending millions to install solar panels, batteries, and are even trialing wind turbines while targeting deals with independent power producers to supplement struggling state utility Eskom's increasingly unreliable output, the company executives told Reuters. Overall, the power crisis and logistical constraints are expected to erase 2 percentage points from economic growth this year, according to the South African Reserve Bank governor. As they battle to simply mitigate the worsening crisis, telecommunications companies have been operating cost balloon. Vodacom and MTN executives told Reuters they're having to divert capital away from much-needed network upgrades and 5G rollouts. Meanwhile, they said government regulations are blocking potential solutions, such as sharing backup power infrastructure with their competitors, and revealed they are lobbying authorities to help ease the pain. We'll be heading into international news shortly, starting with news from Iran.
Namibia's hospitality is as vibrant as its people. Join the What's Cooking team as they travel the country cooking, chatting, and celebrating local personalities and the joy of food. If you think you have a standout offering, whether it's a restaurant, bar, pop-up event, or braai stand, get in touch with the What's Cooking team at cooking@synergy.com.na, and we will be there to show the world what's cooking. Programs air every Friday at 4 p.m. on all the NMH Facebook platforms, as well as on NTV, DSTV channel 285, and GoTV channel 94 at 9 p.m.
Twenty Iranian schoolgirls were hospitalized yesterday after the latest mysterious wave of poisoning attacks that have sickened thousands of pupils, state media reported. The girls were treated after suffering shortness of breath in Tabriz, capital of the northwestern province of East Azerbaijan, reported the news agency IRNA. In a wave of cases since late November, more than 5,000 students have suffered fainting, nausea, shortness of breath, and other symptoms after reporting unpleasant odor corridors, with some needing hospital treatment. The unexplained attacks in about 230 schools have sparked fear and anger amongst pupils and their parents. Schools had resumed classes on Monday following the 2-week Nowruz holiday. Now, in early March, Iran announced more than 100 arrests over the poisonings, charging that the unidentified perpetrators may have links with hostile groups. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has called for the perpetrators of the unforgivable crime to be tracked down without mercy. We'll be heading into local sports after the break, starting with cricket.
Chill Sessions is an entertainment show that brings you the latest hit, fashion, and entertainment news. If you would like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact chill@synergy.com.na. Chill Sessions, bringing art and entertainment to the people.
Now, Namibia, with 267 for 9 in 50 overs, produced possibly its best performance of the 5 ODI World Cup qualifiers yesterday, as the Richelieu Eagles overcame Canada by 111 runs in 42.2 overs at Wanderers. The Eagle bowlers were spot on and may have sealed the encounter for Namibia. The spin bowlers Harsh Taker and Sant bin Safar, with 2 wickets each, restricted Namibia to 61 runs in 19 overs with painful precision. So the Eagles, under pressure, had to hit 206 at 6.65 per over in just 31 overs. Rihanna Schultz marked her successful entry into the prestigious Seven Continents Club by completing the grueling Antarctica Marathon on King George Island in Antarctica on 23 March. In doing so, she became the first Namibian to have completed a marathon on each of the 7 continents and also realized an 8-year-old dream. Schultz, who resides in US, is a homeschooling mom and the owner of Namibia Ultra Trails, which hosts the annual Brandberg Backyard Ultra in US. The Soccermund Fistball Club will play host to the second round of fixtures in the Bank Windhoek National Fistball League on the 22nd of April. According to the Fistball Association of Namibia's media officer Haimo Mins, the second round will produce quality matches. I believe that after the visitation of the European players and coaches, there will be an increase in quality matches, not only in the A-League, but most particularly for youngsters who are integrated into the B League. Cohen Fistball Club 1, CFC 2, Sports Club Windhoek 1 and Soccermund Fistball Club 1 will be up against each other in Group A. We'll be heading into international sports, starting off with athletics.
Tourismus Namibia is a weekly tourism show that brings you the latest news in the tourism industry and topics related to that. If you would like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact tourismus@synergy.com.na for news and advertising related queries. Tourismus, bring the world to Namibia.
Heading into international sports news on NMH at 1, an organization which oversees the anti-doping program for international athletics has said that Kenyan athletes are being assisted by local medical experts to cover up doping offenses. The Athletics Integrity Unit reached the conclusion after 2 athletes used similar stories to explain medical irregularities. The runners Eglay Nafuna, Dlinyanya and Betty Lempers had allegedly produced forged paperwork to support their claim to have had an intramuscular injection at the same hospital. Athletics Kenya said last week that it had been promised $5 million a year to combat doping. British boxer Amir Khan has been banned for 2 years after an anti-doping test revealed the presence of a banned substance following his fight against Cal Brook on February 2022. The former lightweight world champion tested positive for ostarine. Khan, who retired from boxing in May, accepted he broke anti-doping rules but said it was not intentional. An independent tribunal accepted that argument, ruling out deliberate or reckless conduct by the 36-year-old. "I've never cheated," Khan told Sky Sports News, "but I've got a 2-year ban now, which is quite strange and funny because I'm already retired anyway. There's no comeback planned at all, but I've never cheated and I never will. That's just not something I would do." Khan says he has no idea how the banned substance ended up in his system. And New Zealand Rugby has launched an ambitious 10-year plan to transform the women's game and tap into the explosion of interest sparked by the Black Ferns' triumph on home soil at last year's World Cup. The governing body undertook 1,500 hours of consultation with more than 2,200 people in the rugby community before drafting the New Zealand Women and Girls in Rugby System Strategy, which was released on Wednesday. "We are riding an extraordinary wave of excitement and engagement with women's rugby in Aotearoa, the likes of which we've never seen," NZR chairperson Patsy Reddy said at the launch in Auckland. If you are just joining us, this is NMH at 1, and we will get into the highlights from today's broadcast after this short break.
Sunset News is a daily news show focusing on national headlines as well as international news. If you'd like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, please contact sunset@synergy.com.na. Sunset News. Don't end your day without us.
My.NA Property Show provides viewers with the best in-class content, engaging interviews, as well as a showcase of the latest property-related products and services. If you would like to feature your brand or your campaign on this platform, contact My.NA at synergy.com.na. My.NA Properties, more than just a roof over your head.
Thank you for staying with NMH at 1. Here are the highlights from this afternoon's broadcast. The Zimbabwean government says it has ordered an investigation into reports of gold smuggling and money laundering. 20 Iranian schoolgirls were hospitalized on Tuesday after the latest in a mysterious wave of poisoning attacks that have sickened thousands of pupils, state media reported. And an organization which oversees the anti-doping program for international athletics has said that Kenyan athletes are being assisted by local medical experts to cover up doping offenses. Those have been your highlights. Remember to tune in every weekday at 1 p.m. to spend your lunch hour with NMH at 1, catching up on the latest news in Namibia, Africa, and the world, ranging from current affairs to economic news, sports, and international headlines. My name is Ashwin Berry. That's it from us in studio. See you tomorrow.